between January 30th and May 3rd, Kerala reported just 499 cases and 2 deaths, and the majority of confirmed cases were concentrated in the Kasaragod and Kannur districts. Subsequently, COVID-19 cases cropped up in other districts due to increase in both inter and intra-state movement of people due to trade and tourism. And then the epic curve of Kerala changed completely due to Onam festivities across the state during the months of August and September. Onam festival lasted between 22nd of August to September 2nd. During this period, there were huge congregations across the state where people collected in large numbers and obviously did not take adequate precautions. Kerala, which was reporting an average of 2,000 daily cases in the first week of September 2020, reached 4,000 average daily new cases fortnightly, which means Kerala started adding 7,000 to 8,000 daily new cases. You can say that Kerala paid the price for its gross negligence. After having good control on the virus during the initial phase of the pandemic, the situation now has worsened. I would say that other states should learn a lesson from Kerala's spurt in COVID cases due to negligence during the Onam season. I would also say that all states need to be careful during the coming festival season and ensure that COVID appropriate behavior is followed diligently. Otherwise, it may result in a rapid increase in cases across India. This caution must be exercised for the next 3 months at least. अगर आपको सुबह की चाय अखबार के बिना बेस्वाद लगती है तो आप अभी तुरंत अपने हॉकर को फ़ोन करें, कल से अखबार मंगाना शुरू कर दें। मैं ऐसा इसलिए कह रहा हूं क्योंकि अखबारों से कोरोना वायरस फैलने की बात निराधार है। कोरोना वायरस एक श्वसन वायरस है जो संक्रमित व्यक्ति द्वारा खांसने, छींकने अथवा बोलने पर निकलने वाली संक्रमित थूक की बूंदों से फैलता है। इसे फैलने के लिए अखबार की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती। मैं यह भी बताना चाहूँगा कि अखबार को लेकर अभी तक कोई चिकित्सकीय अध्ययन नहीं है जो कोरोना वायरस के फैलाव की पुष्टि करता हो। अखबार पढ़ना पूरी तरह सुरक्षित है। द ऑक्सीजन प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी ऑफ इंडिया इज अराउंड 6,400 metric tons per day, and the government is ready to scale up the production capacity in order to meet any further increase in demand arising due to the pandemic. The empowered group constituted by the Ministry of Home Affairs under the Disaster Management Act 2005, involving Ministry of Health, Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, Department of Pharmaceuticals, regulatory authorities, is monitoring the requirement of medical oxygen across India, and several industry partners are also on board. The Ministry of Health is also monitoring the availability and supply of medical oxygen at the field level through regular video conferencing with state nodal officers for oxygen, as well as with principal secretaries or mission directors. So far, we have delivered 1,02,400 medical oxygen cylinders to states and UTs. We have also advised them to utilize funds available under Emergency COVID Response and Health System Preparedness Package for procuring additional oxygen cylinders if required. Recently, at the request of Empowered Group 2, the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority has issued instructions for fixing the price of liquid medical oxygen. The prices for gaseous medical oxygen are already fixed. Guidelines on rational use of oxygen for management of COVID-19 have also been issued. Bharat Biotech's Phase 1 clinical trial included subjects aged 18 to 55 years. while for phase 2, this was expanded to ages between 12 and 65 years. Cadila Healthcare's phase 1 clinical trial included subjects aged 18 to 55 years, while for phase 2, this was expanded to participants of either gender aged 12 years and above. Serum Institute is conducting phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials of their vaccine in subjects aged 18 years of age and above till the age of 99.